Do you have a fruit tree but don't know how to take care of it? You purchased it, you thought that's great, I'm gonna grow my own fruit, but now it's a few years down the road and you don't know how to properly prune it? Hi, I'm Jenna Nees and I'm the Purdue Extension Ag and Natural Resources Educator in Putnam County, Indiana. Myself and my fellow Ag and Natural Resources educators hear from individuals every year who have purchased a tree, bought property that has a fruit tree on it, or they have a few but they don't know how to take care of it, and they need help learning how to prune the fruit tree properly. I hope to take a few minutes during this short video to give you some of the basics that you need to know in order to properly prune your fruit tree. Now, one of the first things you need to do when thinking about pruning your fruit tree is make sure you have the right equipment. When you're getting your equipment together, make sure it's sharp and that it's been cleaned. Ideally, when you finish using your equipment the last time, you should have cleaned it with a 10% bleach solution so to ensure that any diseases have been removed. Now, once you have your equipment, you need to think about when should I prune it? And sadly, you do have to do it during winter, or at least that's when we encourage you to. Right now in January, it's still too early. But if you start thinking about pruning in late February or into March, that's great, because at that point in time, the trees, you can actually see the shape of it. You don't have to worry about leaves being in the way. Plus, if you prune then, you have time for the wounds to heal and possibly seal up before the disease pressure and insect pressure gets here during the summer months. So when you begin to prune, you need to begin by first walking around the tree and looking at the overall shape of it. And you'll want to consider what might need to be pruned. And so we'll take some close-up video of some of the pruning cuts that you need to make. When you're looking for the tree, I first recommend looking for branches that are growing downward, because if it's growing down, it won't produce any fruit. Look for limbs that are crossing or rubbing each other, because we don't want that to occur. Look for little suckers along the bottom of the tree, and look for any damage that might be on a branch. Just looking at those few little areas can help widen the tree, open it up, because in the end, we ideally want to be able to throw a baseball through there. So we're looking at this branch right here. You can see it's going straight up and it is rubbing through several branches. It's caused a lot of damage up here. It's causing damage up there. And ideally we wouldn't want to take necessarily one of the main branches, but we've still got a lot of healthy branches in there. But we're going to start by taking that one out right here. And let's see if we can get it out fairly easy. Here we go. And that really opened up a lot of spots on that tree. Now we need to keep walking around. We've got several little ones off through here. Some of those are okay because they will grow and be strong. We want to check down low for the suckers and see if they need to be removed. I know this tree was pruned last year, so it has some of that stuff taken care of. But we still do have a lot of limbs that might still be able to take out. So if we walk around, we've got another one right here. It's rubbing, it's too tight. We're gonna see if we can get in there and trim it. And you can see I don't necessarily have the right shears for the job there. Let's try it with these. And there we go, we got that one taken care of. And that means you've got to have the right tools for the job, because not all the tools are the same. Continuing to look around the tree, a lot of what needs done on this one is where the branches are crossing or rubbing each other. Here's another one back here. It's rubbing and crossing, and that's going to be a problem down the road. So we'll pull that one out. Got another one right here. And ideally we want to cut it at a nice little angle just outside of the collar here. You can see these are some cuts that were done last year. They were left a little bit long. So we'll go ahead and trim them and see if we can get them nailed down a little closer. Now you may wonder, this tree is rather tall. And I would agree, ideally with this tree, we would want to do some trimming up at the top, but I don't necessarily have the right equipment to do that today. With the tree, when you're going to trim the top, you don't want to just come in and top the tree, because if you top the tree, you're getting rid of that strong center tree limb that you want to grow. Plus, if you cut it wrong, it will actually end up dividing and you'll get like a nest and several branches running off of it that will become a crazy mess. So as you wrap up with pruning your fruit trees, one of the things you may think of is, do I need to spray any type of sealant on the wounds that I've created? And the answer is no. Spraying any type of sealant to protect the wounds really doesn't do anything. Instead, you're adding to your cost of production for your fruit, and you're maybe preventing the tree from healing correctly. So we really recommend not using any type of sealant after you've done your pruning. It might seem kind of scary to go ahead and prune your tree because you don't want to do too much damage. And honestly, there's two things that people do wrong when it comes to pruning. The first one is not pruning it, and therefore they just let the tree become overgrown, and because the branches aren't pruned properly, there's less fruit produced because everything's crowded together and sunlight's not getting in. The second one is that they prune too much and they take off all the desirable growth. We have a lot more information on pruning fruit trees available to you through Purdue Extension. If you have questions and need assistance, feel free to contact your local Purdue Extension office to get more information on how to prune fruit trees.